maybe you would write a manifesto, because that's when you've got something big and world-changing and revolutionary and unsellable. And you look back at history, a lot of people with big ideas like that wrote manifestos. Marx wrote a manifesto. The Surrealists wrote a manifesto. The Futurists wrote lots and lots and lots of manifestos, you know. So we'll try a manifesto for the universal basic income. So the first tenet of the manifesto, we thought, well, maybe it's actually about all of us, because at the moment, it's not about any of us. At the moment, it's seen as a skiver's wage by those on the right. It's for people who just want to sort of laze about on the sofa all day. Or for those on the left, it's an attack on welfare. It's just a way of taking benefits off of people, which is, you know, it's understandable. It's understandable. It's like care in the community. It was a brilliant, radical, left-wing psychology idea that became just a way of emptying people onto the streets and dumping them. So these are understandable worries, but we've got to reframe it, I think. It's not one or the other. It's, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing that robots take away a lot of jobs. It could be a great thing that robots take away a lot of jobs, because it could free you up to do much more interesting stuff with your life. And it's got to be framed as something that, I love this phrase, I found it somewhere on the internet, but unconditional basic income is not left or right, it's forward. I thought, well, that's quite resonant with tonight, you know, it's not left or right, it's forward. It's a new direction to go in. I thought, that's quite interesting. Then I thought, maybe it is the big existential question for the age of robots. Maybe that is a big fundamental question. What do you do with your life if you don't have to work anymore? If your basic needs are taken care of, what are you going to do with your life? That's a hard question, because for so many of us, all of us maybe, work is how we define ourselves. But it's a big, big existential question. It's a really interesting question to ask people. It's a rich one. You know, and then it leads you to this sort of all the Einsteins, all the Picassos, all the sort of genius filmmakers and doctors and world changers who were never discovered, whose talent was never realized because they never got the chance. They just never got a chance to break out of their council estates or their tenements or whatever. Then you also say, well, actually, you know, Monopoly's a great game. And Monopoly's got this great rule at the heart of it. Every time you pass go, they give you 200 quid. They give you 200 quid because it's good that people can keep playing the game. It makes the game more interesting. So you think, well, you know, maybe it makes the game more interesting for life as well. And then you say, well, it's not actually a utopian idea. It's happening already. It's happening in places like Canada, in some of the states of Canada. It's happening in Alaska in a different form. It's happening in Finland right now, where they're testing it with 10,000 randomly selected adults and giving them all €500 a month and saying there's no conditions. On you go. They're going to see what happens, what the result of it. They're going to test it in Glasgow, which I think is a brilliant idea, obviously. So it's not a utopian idea. You know, it's a real idea. It's something practical. And actually, you know, Bill Hicks probably put it best. He wasn't very nice about advertising people, Bill Hicks, but he did get it right sometimes, you know. It's all about money, not freedom. You think you're free, try going somewhere without money. Yeah, so fundamentally it's about freedom, because it frees you up to do other things. So the first one is it's about all of us. The second tenet was every revolution needs an enemy. Needs something to rally against, you know, and maybe it's tempting to say the enemy of modern times is the precariat. All those people in vulnerable sort of precarious situations who, led by the alt-right or whatever, will vote for a Trump. You know, I will vote for a Brett, I will do whatever, I will riot in London, you know. It's tempting to do that, but it's wrong to do that, because demonising the poor is not going to get us anywhere. And the robots are coming for everyone anyway. They're not just coming for the taxi drivers, they're coming for the tax inspectors, and they're coming for everybody else, you know. So, yeah, they're even coming for the admin. Automation is just moving through advertising at quite a pace at the moment, for real. People are disappearing. You know, so the robots are coming. The real enemy, I think, is the perpetual insecurity of life in late capitalism. You know, I think that books like Charles Handy's The Empty Raincoat, which is about the end of the job for life, the end of the company man, and how we all had to have portfolio careers. But you think even further back, you think of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, which is about the insecurity of working life in late capitalism. Insecurity makes people obedient. Insecurity makes people malleable and leadable. And if you take that perpetual insecurity away, that's revolutionary. That's profound. So the real enemy here, that's why it'll be such a hard thing to convince people of. The real enemy is the insecurity of life in late capitalism. The third one is, what a terrible name, universal basic income. If that's a brand, then you take this brilliant product, really positive, optimistic, revolutionary, world-changing product, and you call it universal basic income. And for fuck's sake, it's like, it just sucks all that. It's the language of bureaucracy and the welfare state. It's dreadful, And you think about it, you start playing about with it, and you say, universal buy, you buy. Well, that's quite interesting, buy. It's like, maybe everybody's buy. That's making me smile. Suddenly it's not welfare anymore, Maybe it's been buy-waged, buy-salary, buy-financed. It's great. Maybe your mum's buy. Maybe the Uber drivers buy, and Grandad's carers buy, and the wannabe rock stars and buy, and the inventors are buy, and all artists are buy. Everybody knows that. And the interns buy, and the supply teachers buy, and that next Einstein's buy as well. And it's great, and you give it a bit, and it's putting a smile on people's lips, and it's for everyone, and it's likeable, and it's a nice idea. Then the next one is you build a popular front. A lot of people in Silicon Valley like the idea of universal basic income. It might be guilt. It might be because they're building the robots that are taking the jobs. I don't know. But they like the idea, and that's a good thing. So you get the support, and sort of you get them on board. And Elon Musk likes the idea of UBI. He's by. Elon Musk is by, and so you get him behind it. As is Nassim Taleb, he's by as well. So you get him behind the idea, and sort of you harness that. You create a popular front of people who have reach and influence, and sort of you start to build a proper communication platform. And you also build if you want to get a job in advertising now, or in law, or whatever, and you come to London from Glasgow or wherever you come from, you come down here, you probably have to do a year of unpaid internship. Now, who can afford to live in London on no money? That's a dreadful situation. So cities like London and New York and Paris and all over, they should be by as well, because they rely on younger people coming into those cities to get into those jobs, to keep those cities very central. So they should be supporting it. And the gig economy, ultimately, Deliveroo and Uber and all that should be by as well, because their drivers, their workers are very inflexible jobs that depend upon it. So you get your alliance. And Henry Ford's by. Everybody who makes something, every retailer who sells something needs customers who can buy something, and robots don't shop. They might do the shopping, but they don't buy anything for themselves, So you need people with money to buy things. That's how the system works. Finally, you unleash an artistic insurrection to the mind, because real change, if you want to change the way people think about something, you've got to change the way they feel about it first. And emotion comes before rational thinking, and emotion starts with the arts. And sort of, Marshall McLuhan put it well when he said, art is like a distant early warning system. It shows us what's coming, what's around the corner. We see it first, we hear it in the songs, we read it in the novels, we see it in the films, and then it comes along. This, a bit of Glasgow bias, but my favourite story, isn't it? Alistair Gray there was no art in Glasgow in 1982. In 1981, there was no art, hardly. I don't think Hue and Cry had been off the ground by then. There was no art in Glasgow. There was nothing. And Alistair Gray, an artist, not a writer, an artist, wrote a novel about the fact that it was impossible to create art in Glasgow. And at the heart of the novel, right in the middle of it, was this little exchange between two art students. And one says, why does no great art ever come out of this place? And the other says, think of Venice, Rome, and Paris. Before we ever go to these places, we have visited them 1,000 times in our imagination through art and literature and movies. You have to visit a place first before it can really become real. He wrote the book, and he published the book, and other books were written, and bands were formed, and movies were made, and and Glasgow became a cultural city, and it flourished. And then for the last 2 decades, it's dominated the Turner Prize. It's led to a regeneration of different areas of Glasgow. It's led to tourism. It's led to all sorts of economic effects, But it starts with somebody sowing the seed that this idea is possible, and it's sown through art. And the inverse of it. I had that poster on my bedroom wall. It was no wonder I smoked when I was 17. I had that poster on my wall. Before we could ban smoking, before you could ban smoking, even counting as a ban, it had to disappear from culture. Before it disappeared from the streets and the pubs, it had to disappear from the movies and from the lips of the pop stars and from the TV shows and the soap operas and all that. You take something away from culture and people can countenance it going. You put something into culture, inversely, people can countenance it actually happening in the first place. So the revolution starts in art. Johnny Marr puts it brilliantly. And this is my favourite quote. I mean, it's Johnny Marr was doing a speech at the University of Salford, and he was asked this, by the British music industry to talk about how the British music industry helps artists. And he said, but nothing of any value was ever created inside the British or American music business. It always came from outside, from outsiders created in the real world. These people, out of necessity, rejection, frustration, and talent, and with vision, built their own ark and sailed it alongside and ahead of the music industry. In doing so, they created their own market, they did their own research and development, they did it and they still do it in small clubs, playing in front of a few people, supporting other bands, going up and down the country in little vans. They do it in homemade studios, they do it in MySpace, on Facebook, and they don't do it on the X Factor. And it's brilliant, and this is how art creates economy. This is why the CBI should be in favour of UBI as well, because the growth starts with people themselves having an idea and getting an idea off the ground and building an audience for their idea. So that's the UBI Action Manifesto. 1, it's about all of us. 2, we've got nothing to lose but our insecurity. 3, say you buy and smile. 4, build a popular front of the powerful and the morally obliged. And finally, unleash an artistic insurrection of the mind. There again.